G'day YouTube, welcome back to my channel. Hope you've been well. If you've been following me, I showed you some juniper updates on twisted and bent junipers, and I felt like this one was one that we could do an initial styling with. So I've taken all the wire off this tree. I'll try and expose some of it, but you can see some of the nice twists and bends in these branches, which is really good. It has worked, it has twisted them up. Possibly we could have left them on another 6 months or so, but I thought, you know what, let's have a look at this tree and see what we can do today. I like it. I like there's possibilities here. It's actually got, I'll try and come in close, but it's got a pretty nice trunk and base there. It's slanting on that angle. There's actually not too bad. Both opposite sides are pretty good. This front, probably the trunk is probably a little bit better bending wise in terms of it goes back and then comes forward, goes back, comes forward, where this side's a bit pigeon breasted, you know, it comes out pigeon breasted a little bit, but the foliage is more on this side. So you know, we've got to look at all the positives and negatives with each one we do. But thought I'd just show you this. It's a pretty cool little tree. It's got little shoots everywhere, a lot of bends everywhere, but ultimately what are we going to do with it today? So I was having a quick look at it while I took all the wire off. Now, there's actually like 3 trunks. There's a trunk in here, the trunk in here that's twisted, it's on this side. There's a trunk in the middle which is in here twisted, and there's a trunk out here which is nice and twisted as well and around. To be honest, I'm a bit, I guess this trunk over here, a little bit too weak, a little bit too not interesting. This is going to be I'm going to gin it all and create a deadwood piece there. You know, gin and shari, maybe shari down the trunk. The middle one I am contemplating keeping. However, I think because it's very central, I can't really tell the story. If it's in the middle, then why are the 2 sides died off? Whereas my thinking now is, let's use just this side of the tree, maybe bend it back on itself, twist it up. Needs a bit more bending and twisting, but it can bend it up, twist it on itself, maybe something, create a tree, bend it that way maybe, I'm not sure, and actually gin these 2 trunks out here. So if I gin these 2 trunks, I can at least tell the story. You know, the whole tree is bending that way anyway, so something's happened to the tree to push it that way and bend it that way. This explains these 2 trees died off somehow. Something, you know, must have happened bang on this side, pushed the tree over, killed this off, and now the tree's recovering and filling in and growing in here. So that's my thinking today, and that's where the approach I'm going to take. The trunk's really cool and interesting. There's no really straight bits. There's possibility, I'll just try and hold like that, hopefully you guys can see. There's a bit of a straight bit in here, but I've just noticed if I push that back down a bit, it actually fixes that. So I might have to just do some wiring and push that down a bit. And maybe I'm thinking about bending the trunk back on itself and creating some sort of apex in here, around here in this section, and let these gins do their thing on the side. We'll probably have to wire them up just to make them more interesting and put them in the right position, maybe something like that. I don't want them just very leggy, I want them nice and tight and contorted. So once we gin them, we can do that. We can get them nice, and you can wire fresh deadwood, if that makes sense. So this will freshly be created, it will be dead. We take all the cambium off and then we'll wire it up so we can actually bend it into place. So that's my thinking. I'm not sure which front yet, to be honest. Both would look really well. If I chose this side, which I thought would be the original back, it's got a good, at least the gins are more in the front, which would be interesting, and then I can hide the foliage can frame that, which is probably a really good idea. Whereas this side, if this side's the front, the gins are okay there, but the tree, the foliage is more to the front, so it could hide the gins. So we're just going to have to see how we play out with this tree. I'm not 100% sure just yet which is the front and which is the back. But let's work towards some of the ideas. So first things first is I'm going to gin these trunks. The first things I do, because I know I'm not going to use them all, I just cut them back, cut the foliage bits off that I'm not going to really gin. Probably just going to take it off to there. Let's cut it all back. Now, I'm sure you've seen gin work before, but it's pretty easy. I cut all the foliage off. So that branch is ready to go. So then I just get my gin pliers, I guess they call them, and squeeze the cambium, and pretty easy, go through it. Now you notice how that's quite a fair way away, so when we actually wire, when I wire it, really get it tight and contorted and twisted down, that would be the aim anyway for me. Is getting it nice and close to the trunk, maybe a bit closer rather than too far out. I want to try and create a very small Shohin sized tree. Let's see how it goes. Let me just do this one, and sometimes I just like to finish it a bit earlier by re-embarking it, just so I don't pull it all and rip the live vein that I want to keep on the trunk. And then we'll fix it up later. I might peel it further down, and so now it just should come off in your hands really. It should just peel right off. So you can see that peeling right off. Pretty easy. You will notice the bits that won't pop, maybe peel off, would be, there probably some dead wood there. And that's not as easy to peel those off. But this looks all pretty fresh. Pretty easy. That's all gone just about. Cool, so there's a nice little piece of dead wood. So I might actually, maybe because I'm going to do this one as well, I might do a little shari that joins those up, and I'll show you that when I do that. So let's just cut this one all back. So sometimes I just cut the foliage first, just to expose the trunk and which bits we're going to keep. Anything that's too small we're not going to keep. You can't really gin, do you know? If that makes sense. Enough. So you can see that's now cut back. Am I going to use that? No, I don't think so. Now the good thing is I've got some bends in them already, so I guess that's a positive. And you know, if we were going to keep them, then it would have been interesting to keep them. There you go. So now I'll gin all this up, and I think I was thinking there's this branch down here that I'm not too keen on. Okay, it's too low, so there's a branch down here that's too low, so I'm going to cut that off for now, or try and gin it for now. And it's not the strongest branch either, but that one looks like we might we'll try and see if we keep it, but I'm not convinced I'll keep that one down there. But what I'll do is now I'll gin this and I'll clean this up, and then I'll come and show you maybe how the shari work that I've done. I'll just join those two gins up and create some interest there. Okay. So rather than you watching, I'll pause for a minute. Alright, so I have gin those two branches. And I put a little bit of a shari along the trunk here that join these two up. I haven't extended down yet because I want to see how that all dies back, and if it dies down to here, great. But these two joining each other usually means they're lined up in terms of the live vein. So I'm going to leave that alone for now, and hopefully that will just die off nicely here, and then roll over a bit on the live bits, and then we can try and extend that down. But it just looks nice there for now. I haven't wired these guys up, but you can see the difference, and now I think you can maybe you can see the potential that I was thinking about. I'm thinking I need to lower this maybe and bring this down and create a nice little very small compact tree, you know, really try and get it nice and tight and close. I'm probably going to have to reduce a few more branches, but yeah, it's not looking too bad. I think my idea is on the mark there, or what I like to see. There's still lots of branches in here. We're not sure if I'm going to keep them. It's just going to be a bit of a study for me to look at. I am trying to think maybe a small semi-cascade look, so as well, small semi-cascade look in that section there. So we'll get some of these branches wide down in here, further down, creating tree, but try and get some of this back here to create an apex, and then just slowly put these down into this spot here. So I'm going to work on that thinking and that idea. It is going to be a bit of a, you know, just wiring up and seeing what it looks like. I'm thinking it might work. I just have to study it a bit more. You know, it takes me a while sometimes to figure out the best design, but I'm liking that thinking. It might look quite interesting. So if you think about it, there's a nice perfect branch here that will fit, and I'll just have to wire it out and fully put it in there. Try and put some pressure back on that, wire that up and create a nice little apex area. Might have to obviously cut this back, it's too long, this bit, but something like that with the gins on this side, and a bit of shari along the trunk might suit the tree. So that's the thinking at the moment. That's the plan for what I'm going to try and attempt. So I'm going to wire these two up because I'm going to get them out of the way and get them, you know, set, and then I'll work on that side of the tree. So I'll do it in steps. I might put some heavier wire on this trunk here because I want it to go back a bit. Now I just don't have anything to anchor it to, as I want to use a guy wire, so that's the only problem. I don't want to anchor it to the pot because I'm hoping by spring I can repot this into a bonsai pot finally, and start to style it more. So yeah, that's what I'm going to plan on doing. I'll wire these up. I'll wire these up and then I'll do a bit of a clean out of all the foliage. Anything that's growing down I'll take off. Anything that grows in the crotches here, when there's two and then it grows in the crotches, take off. Anything that's long and only a bit of tufted foliage on the end, we're just going to have to get rid of that because this tree needs to be very compact. Anything like that long and spindly, we've got to get rid of. I can see quite a few branches at the back here, which unfortunately might have to take off. See that? I'll put my hand. So there'll be all the foliage at the top, and there's nothing in this section here. And there's lots of nice smaller stuff in here which you can use. So that's the thinking today. I'm going to wire these up, and I'm going to wire, and then I'm going to clean some of this out, and I'll come back and show you these wired and this cleaned up a bit. I might even put the bigger wire on the main trunk to set the branching, and then we'll look at fine wiring and what I'm going to take off and keep. Okay, be back soon. Okay, so I am using, by the way, I'm using copper wire at the moment for this tree because I want to get it in a style that won't, when I put it in place, it's not going to move and be bumped around with aluminium, and I think it's almost ready for a final piece. So I am thinking this is the front now, to what I thought originally, with the trunk going away and coming back and having the foliage out here. I'm not going this way, simply because the apex is going to be at the back, so I'm thinking I would like it at the front. So I've wired, you can see I've wired these gins, haven't reduced them too much, but I've wired them all coming out in this end of coming out this way, so on this side of the tree. So I imagine that this tree was growing for a long time and something happened to this side, but the branches were growing in this direction, so they got killed and I stayed in that direction. So that was my thinking, and then this has grown out and created a new tree. Now I have wired, you'll see I've wired the main trunk, and I've bent it down a bit, and I've put one wire and connected up to that cascading kind of branch. So I'll now start to just pretty much wire out the rest of the tree, and we'll see what the result looks like. I'll still keep cleaning up little bits and pieces. Like I know there's some weak areas. There's some areas that are bare, and I'm not going to be able to do much with it yet, but I'm going to try and wire things in position, wire all the branches, clean up, and I'll have to reduce quite a bit, but I'm hoping you guys can see that kind of look now. The tree's going to be a nice little, apex in here, semi-cascadish with the gin on this side. So that's what I'm thinking and coming up with in my head. I hope it translates to the tree, and I'm just going to keep working away. And then I'll come back and show you after it's been wired. Yeah, I did gin that lower one, but I'm not sure I'll keep that. It looks terrible in that spot, so I'll just cut it off, I think. Doesn't mean anything, so it doesn't explain anything. So when things don't make sense, you cut them off, or it doesn't really add to the value of the tree. Yeah, so just going to wire it, and I'll come back and show you the result, guys. Yeah. I don't know if I'll put a time lapse. Maybe I'll try a time lapse and see if it's any good. But I think best bet is just I'll wire this up. You guys know, wire the tree, style it, position it, and then we get a result. Okay, be back soon. Okay, everyone. So I have wired up the tree. I'm sure you can see this. This is probably where I'm thinking the front will be. I haven't totally worked out if I want to tilt it or anything like that just yet. I'll just spin the tree slowly around so you can see what I've done. The apex needs a bit more work. Everything needs a bit more filling out and then replacing and then growing on and seeing what happens. But ultimately, I'll try and line up the camera with the tree, and I'll take a photo of it at the end and I'll post that up as well. So hopefully you can see I've tried to make a pad out here, the layered out this bit here. Tried to make that as flat as I can. There's a pad there, and then I've created just the apex through the branch coming out here, creating a pad, creating a little apex, having some little bit of foliage in there just to fill in some gaps. But it's actually come up. I think it's come up like a really nice little tree. I think it's just a matter of now tweaking it and finding the right angle for the tree and how it should be presented. But I think it's really coming along nicely. It's been really nicely compacted. It tells a story of the dead, died over this side and the trees survived over this side. It's flowing in that direction too, meaning what happened and so on. I don't know. I think it's come up better than I expected. Hard to see exactly the final position of the tree. I think in 6 months' time this will fill out quite a lot. And I'll be able to go, okay, take some more branches off or fill in more branches and so on. But the tree has so much good movement. It's really nice and compacted. It's a nice small tree, very, very, very small. 10 centimeters from the base probably, 15 maybe from the base. So it's well within Shohin size. Nice trunk. It's got the dead wood explaining the story. And I think it's come up really well. I just don't know if the camera can pick that up. Not much more to say. It does need to fill out. A lot of these branches are quite thin and young, so that's why they haven't really been wired properly. Just wired as much best I could, but everything will develop and start to really harden off, and that's when I can really start to play around with positioning the branches in the right place. There's some weak bits in here, but now I've thinned it out. The sun should get in there, hopefully make them stronger. Not much more to report. I hope you guys can see that nice little cascade there, or semi-cascade, nice little semi-cascade there. Really twisted up tree. Yeah, I'm just going to really play around with the angle of the tree that will eventually be at, something like that. Alright, I'm not sure much more to tell you guys. Hope you enjoyed that video. You can see that probably the main thing is this tree from an air layer. Then I've put some, grew it on, put some bends and twists into it, bend and twist the branches, let them grow. Took all that off, had the right, twists and trunks twisted up, created something interesting. Initially styled a nice little Shohin sized tree. Now it's time though. It's time. It's how much time you can really spend in it, but it's a process. So, air layer, grow on, bend and twist them, compact them. You can create a nice little Shohin tree pretty quickly. A few years. LA doesn't take long, as you see, 3 months or so if you do it the right time of year. And then I grow it on for 6 months to a year, then I'll bend and twist them, let it grow again, and then style them. So maybe 3 years from an air layer, something like that. It's not that long, to be honest, as long as you've got enough project trees to keep you busy, and not just the one tree, so you'll have lots to do. So anyway guys, enough of me talking, and I hope you enjoyed that video. Nice, short, sharp, quick, nice little mini that anyone really can create. It's just a bit of wire, bit of styling, bit of practice and technique, but not that hard, to be honest. Just envision something with the tree and work away at it. So there you go. Hope you guys enjoyed that video. I'll catch you guys soon.